kept to Cairo. All the citizens want to see that we have performed, and that even our own member states are our stakeholders. Our national parliaments are our stakeholders. Our regional parliaments and the regional economic committee are our stakeholders. And once we do that, we have to realize that among all the functions that are in the protocol, the Pan-African Parliament must give full expression to the people's voice on the continent, in line with our mandate of ensuring the full participation of African peoples in the economic and integration of the continent. We should never lose sight of this one, that we are a platform for the full participation of African peoples on all issues affecting our citizens. And through our committees, we can achieve this. Because our committees are focusing on every area that is affecting our continent, from infrastructure to energy to health to education to agriculture to immigration, trade, to youth, to women. We are seized with all those issues. I want to thank you, honorable members, that you have performed very well since June 2022. You have done very well. All of you have done, you may not know, you may not realize you have done very well. Some of you, including myself, some of you, including myself, we have actually, if you hear the comments that are coming out from everywhere, they are highly complimentary of the new Pan-African Parliament, highly complimentary. People see the PAP is totally different. So we have a challenge. When people do that, we should not sleep now. Let's build upon that good image. And I want to say, speaking at the official opening of the PAP and the PRC retreat on 19 December 2022, speaking at the official opening of the PAP PRC retreat on 19 December 2022, the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation of the Republic of South Africa, Honorable Dr. Naledi Pandor, acknowledged the excellent work that has been done by the Pan-African Parliament since June 2022, and declared that, and I quote, "There is no one who can sway my belief that the Bureau has made extensive efforts to bring back the Pan-African Parliament to what it should be," end of quote. In the same vein, during the 45th ordinary session of the Permanent Representative Council, PRC, held in January 2023, ambassadors loudly acknowledged the rapid turnaround of the PAP and credited us with a vibrancy that has not been seen at the Pan-African Parliament in a long time. This huge vote of confidence from a previously hostile constituency is a reflection of the strides we have made in transforming our Pan-African Parliament. We must therefore applaud ourselves for this changing public perception, which confirms that we have gone some way in reviving, renewing, repositioning, and reinvigorating the Pan-African Parliament in line with our old strategic thrust. We still have this confidence in PAP. It is just a confidence of being thrown into the factory of work. We have a lot of issues on this continent. As people have confidence in us, they are simply saying, you are the right people to push the agenda of the continent. And the agenda of the continent is littered with a lot of challenges. The issue of food security and malnutrition. Our Committee on Agriculture rural economy, natural resources. We look forward, among other challenges, during these committee sittings, to come up with robust, result-oriented plans to come up with the right outcomes. The issues of the resurgence of unconstitutional changes of government, the expanding threat of terrorism and violent extremism across the continent is a challenge that the Committee on Cooperation, International Relations, and Conflict Resolution should also engage, among other issues. The growing refugee population, displacement of our citizens, statelessness, the Committee on Justice and Human Rights, among other issues. Energy insecurity, which we experienced this morning, among other issues. The Transport Committee should look at this one. The aftermath of COVID, our Committee on Health should look, among other issues, the issues of illicit financial flows, our Committee on Monetary Affairs, the disparate, inconsistent legislative frameworks which are an hindrance to common African market. Our Committee on Rules should interrogate these issues. The triple scourge of drug abuse, drug and human trafficking, which is decimating the demographic dividend, is a challenge to the Committee on Gender, Family, Youth, and people with, this language, people living with disabilities. And the legacy of colonial education, which does not foster entrepreneurship and innovation, is a challenge of the Education Committee. And we expect them to interrogate these issues. The issues of restrictions on the movement of people and goods across the continent. We look forward, and also the issue of implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. Our Committee on Trade should look at these issues. We can go on, and the issues that have been raised at the AU of proper financial management in the organs of the AU brought up by auditors, a Committee on Audit and the Public Accounts has to stand strong on these issues. But I want to say, as PAP, we have to remain focused on our mandate, and that the people of this continent now look forward to their representatives, elected people like yourselves, to ensure that we assist the continent. Having said all that, I want to remind you that at the October plenary session alone, October 2022 plenary session alone, we adopted at least 27 resolutions. 27 resolutions. So it is time for the committees now, when you meet, to look at those resolutions that relate to your committee and say, how do we proceed further? Honorable members, our guests of honor, the African Union theme of the year 2023 is the year of the AFCFTA, acceleration of the African Continental Free Trade Area implementation. 2023, Africa looks forward to the implementation of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And at the recently concluded summit in February, our heads of state were very, very equivocal on this one. They want that we move. We all, as all committees, have something to do with the theme. In our own committees, we should be reminded in each committee what is our contribution to the theme of African Continental Free Trade Area. And we have issues that have always been on the agenda, that because our role is to ensure implementation. So we also go backwards and say, what is it that the AU has been trying to push in terms of agenda? And then we say the AU has said in 2020 silencing the guns. Have the guns been silenced? The 2019 was durable solutions to forced displacement. Has this happened? 2017 was harnessing the demographic dividend through investment in the youth. Have we invested in the youth? But for us to succeed, of course, we do not work in isolation as PAP. We have to work and integrate with others. And the major platform is Agenda 2063. So all committees, even as we do our work, can we also refer to Agenda 2063? It is not exclusive and conclusive in all respects, but it should be our core syllabus. Core syllabi. Say, look, what are you trying to do? Then you follow up and say, are we succeeding? And our major projects on the continent, what they call flagship projects. How far have we gone with the integrated high-speed train network on the continent? That is an Agenda 2063. Formulation of an African commodities strategy, implementation of the Grand Inga Dam project, establishment of a single African air transport. Have we done that? So that how far are we from realizing an Africa that is integrated, prosperous, and peaceful, and driven by its own citizens, representing a dynamic force in the international arena? It's the duty of a parliament to interrogate those things. Let's move. After the committee meetings, we come up with programs and we move ahead. In the meantime, the Bureau, as your top organ, has also been doing a lot of work. As a Bureau, we have participated after the retreat in January. We were in Addis, and we pushed for resources for our budget for 2023, which had basically 000 on all missions. We pushed very hard, and then they said a subcommittee of PAP and the PRC will sit down to interrogate this issue of resources, including the issue of allowances, medical insurance, and the like. That's where we are. We are pushing for that meeting to happen between the PRC subcommittee and the Pan-African Parliament. And our budget, our finance committee has been working on the 2023 budget, which is going to be presented, and we see how we then move. We have our new chairperson of the PRC and the AU, which is Comoros. Our MPs from Comoros, we expect them to assist us because they are now chairing the African Union. And we believe working together with them, we may succeed. Beyond the AU PRC Executive Council, the foreign ministers and the heads of state whom we interacted and raised our issues clearly, and I should say Burundi, I see Burundi you did very well. Your Minister of Foreign Affairs was also very good, not that the only one, several ministers. But I want to repeat that it is for the budget and the allowances. If each one of you can go to your foreign ministers and talk to your ambassador in Addis, we will not spend 2 weeks before we are granted everything. Because the people who are blocking us are the ambassadors, your own ambassadors, sitting in Addis. And they have, of course, to get the approval from the foreign ministers. So we have to work very hard. In the meantime, I should say, because of the new image, there's been high interest in Pan-African Parliament. We are being invited by several countries, but we have said we don't have budget as PAP to visit. We would want even larger delegations, if not 30. But even for the Bureau, we don't have enough money to go to every country. So some countries have offered to say we are sponsoring so many. So we've been to Algeria, but Algeria paid. Algeria paid everything, air tickets, accommodation, and everything. Yes, Algeria paid. So we visited. Please bear with us. We want even larger numbers. But one message that we are sharing even with Algeria is what we call twinning of committees between that country and our country, which is PAP, the continent. So we are asking all the countries, every country, not just Algeria, everyone. If the country can say, if Mauritius can say, okay, we are taking Committee on Trade as our twin committee. So the committee in Mauritius on Trade and the committee at PAP are one. But Mauritius, you are the one to pay for the meetings because PAP has no money. Basically, that's what we are telling them. That you are the one to so Algeria, convene those meetings yourselves and pay air tickets, whatever is required. We are likely to get some of those things coming up. We are doing the same to all those countries that are inviting us. So into Algeria, Qatar invited us at very short notice. The same message. You say, Qatar, can you sponsor some of the committees? Please, so that they become more active. And we seem to be getting good feedback. Qatar said after 10 days they will come back to us. Algeria, I think they are going to pick on cooperation, I think. A committee, I think they are going to pick on transport and maybe another, I don't know. But we are encouraging any country where you come from, those that say, no, we also want to adopt one or two committees from PAP, and we work with them. They come to Mauritius, Mauritius comes here, but when we meet, you are meeting a parliament that has no money, but maybe our money will also come. I should say that the AU this time, when we pressed them hard, that we are a new car with a new engine, a new tires, everything. But we only have 5 liters in our fuel tank. That's what we told them. That just along the way, 20 kilometers down the road, we'll park because we don't have fuel, which is budget, which is money. Then they said, yes, we are trying to, let's meet, but also we are allowing you, PAP, if you can get partners, friends that can fund your committee, please, we allow it. They used to say no. We don't want other people to fund. Now they've agreed, they've opened the doors. So it's now also our challenge to identify countries, partners in the private sector that can partially pay for our activities. The door is now open. And we encourage all of you to do that. I was invited as president to the Euro-Mediterranean and Gulf Economic Forum as a keynote speaker in Marrakesh, in Morocco. Thereafter, we got invitation again and said at the PUIC, Parliamentary Union of Islamic Countries, 57 of them. Again, I was the keynote speaker at that forum. After that, I was again invited at the Arab Parliament as the keynote speaker. So there is an interest in the Pan-African Parliament to be there. And there is IPU, they want us to give a speech. There is clear interest that we work. We've been invited to a number of African countries. Cote d'Ivoire is inviting us. Cameroon has invited us. Rwanda, it's a whole list. We are not traveling because we give them the fact that, look, if we have no money. If we have money, we are coming. If there's no money, we can't. I want them to update on AU passports. All of you deserve AU passports. We raised this matter with the head, the deputy chairperson of the commission, AU Commission, Dr. Monique. And they agree that now the machine is in order back to work. But they said they want to come in May. But again, last week we are pushing them. We said, no, come this week. They haven't responded. We said, come this week. Please, MPs need EU passport. So this is such an update. I'm saying they are saying May. They are used to coming in May and October. That's what they are used to all the time. Now we are saying, can you come in March? So let's see whether they will come. But they are difficult people because the person who was the head of that unit, passport unit, was actually fired last, I think, 2 months ago or so, because they say he's to blame for all these delays. Recruitment of clerk has delayed. Clerk of Pan-African Parliament has delayed because we have had a problem getting the CVs from the AU because they are the ones who advertised. And the applications went to Addis. Getting the CVs has been a problem. But then they said to us, 356 applications. But we are going to give you, they are going to give us 22 CVs out of 356. So we had some contention on that one, that why would they do that? But after listening to our brothers and sisters in the court, who had gone through a similar exercise, okay, we said, okay, fine, give us the 22. And now they are saying, of the 22, only 6 are remaining. The others disappeared because of what they call a quota system. Some countries cannot present candidates for interviews because they already have some employees or staff within the AU system who are in D1, grade D1. Clerk is grade D1. So if your country already has someone at the court or in Addis, in NEPAD, who is in D1, your country is ineligible. You cannot have a candidate. So that has really delayed us. But I think we should be interviewing in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks or so, so that we get off and go over this problem. Look, time is gone. We started late. I was just summarizing this speech. Our guest of honor, thank you very much. Guest of honor, thank you very much. South Africa, you have been supporting the Pan-African Parliament as a host country, and we are happy. Please keep it up. Keep it up, give us the transport we need, give us the other infrastructure. But in our meeting this morning, when we were taking a recess because of the power problem, we exhaustively discussed pending matters. And one of the pending matters is a visa issue. Visa issue. That one, why should, okay, we come 4 times a day, 4 times a year in terms of statutory meetings. But sometimes committees come even 6 times. For example, Finance Committee was here 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago, and they went back. So already they will come 5 times, some come 6 times. Surely do we need to apply for a visa 6 times coming to South Africa? When we are, this is our host country. This is where we also belong. So we discussed that issue, that maybe we should issue visas for a whole year for each member. So that, you know, this year I've got my visa and you visit PAP without much hassle. There are countries or members that have to travel to get a visa. They have to leave their own country and go to another country where there's an embassy. And that is really a headache. We also discussed the issue of our IDs, diplomatic IDs, exhaustively. And we believe that there is likely to be a lot of progress. But I want to say, please convey our deepest appreciation to President Cyril Ramaphosa for delegating you. I think because of his Women's Month, March, the President decided to send a woman to represent her. So I think it's very befitting. That is Women's Month, so we should put women at the forefront in every endeavor. Otherwise, on this note, I should say we should remain united, the Pan-African Parliament. Since June last year, we don't see the past divisions across regions, across language. We are so united. I see it in you. And this is what the people of Africa want to see. And you should know that one of our writers called Phil Jackson said, the strength of the team is in each individual member. The strength of each individual member is in the team. So make sure that in order to build the Africa we want, we also have to be united. I thank you.